If you think your car is running at its full potential, you are wrong. Because with these 24 tricks, you can unlock massive hidden horsepower in just a few days, no matter what you drive or how tight your budget is. Also, did you know your car is probably way slower than it should be? And it's not your fault. This is why years of wear, bad maintenance, and factory settings are robbing you of performance every single day. It's like your engine is trying to breathe through a straw while carrying a backpack full of rocks. You can lose huge amounts of horsepower and throttle response just from these hidden problems alone. And that's not even counting bad driving habits, cheap tires, and computer settings designed for fuel economy instead of speed. The good news is you can fix all of this, and you can do it fast. Just try these 24 proven tricks, and not only will your car feel faster, it can stay that way every time you get behind the wheel. And it all starts with trick number 24. Trick number 24 is installing a turbocharger or a supercharger. Think of it as giving your engine a set of artificial lungs that force feed it cool air under pressure. This is not just a small upgrade. It is one of the most dramatic ways to add big power. Some drivers have picked up 200 horsepower, or even more, just by adding a turbo system. Your engine was designed to breathe naturally, but real-world driving like traffic jams and slow commutes means it rarely gets the air it needs to show its true power. It is like the difference between breathing normally and having an oxygen mask strapped to your face. It is the same engine, but now it is ready to perform like a much bigger one. Here is how you do it. Choose a turbocharger kit if you want maximum power at high speeds, or pick a supercharger if you want instant boost as soon as you touch the gas. Add a larger intercooler to keep the air cool and dense, and upgrade your fuel injectors because your engine will need more fuel to match the extra air. But here is a reality check. Most people cannot even run forced induction safely unless they upgrade supporting parts. That is how much extra stress you are putting on your engine. But if you set it up right, keep boost levels conservative at first, and get a professional tune with the right monitoring, your engine will reward you with a huge jump in power. Now, what else could be slowing your car down besides weak engine power? This might sound odd, but it is completely true. Heavy spinning parts are holding you back more than you think. Trick number 23 is going lighter on your flywheel. Rotational inertia is just a fancy way of saying your engine is fighting against a heavy spinning weight. If you drive a manual, your stock flywheel is probably a big chunk of metal that makes your engine slow to rev and sluggish to respond. Every time you hit the gas, it is like your engine is dragging an anchor. That is why your throttle feels delayed, your engine takes longer to rev up, and your car feels lazy even when you step on it. The fix is simple. Remove the transmission to access the flywheel bolted to your engine. Replace the heavy factory dual-mass flywheel with a lightweight single-mass unit. Upgrade to a stronger clutch disc at the same time, because lightweight flywheels make clutch grip more critical for smooth operation. Here is the wild part. Most people are not ready for how much a lightweight flywheel changes the feel of their car. You will need to adjust your driving style, but if you do it right and start with a moderate weight drop, your car will start reacting to your foot almost instantly. Next up is something you might never expect to unlock more power. That is your car's wastegate and boost controller. This is trick number 22, and it is all about letting your turbo breathe the way it should. Your wastegate is a pressure relief valve for your turbo. If it sticks, wears out, or is set up wrong, your turbo either makes too little boost or too much. Make sure it moves freely, replace any torn diaphragm, and upgrade to a 3-port boost controller for smoother and more precise boost. Here is a quick tip. The more precisely you control boost, the more power you can safely make. That is how you squeeze every last bit of speed out of your turbo. Here is something you might not know. Just like your body loses energy as the day goes on, your engine loses horsepower from heat and load building up. That is why race cars make more power in cool weather. They are not fighting heat soak. Keep your engine cool and tuned, and you will keep making power for the long run. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you let your automatic transmission shift the way it was designed to? Trick number 21 is reflashing your transmission, and it is much easier than you think. You are not rebuilding anything complicated. You are just reprogramming the computer to let your transmission shift faster and more aggressively. All you need is the right software. Start with small increases to line pressure and faster shift timing. Then test different settings until you find what feels best. Here is a secret most people do not realize. Your transmission is programmed to hold back power to protect itself, and that slow shifting is stealing speed. A proper reflash can make your car feel like it gained 50 horsepower just by putting power down more efficiently. Some drivers use this not just for faster shifts, but to completely change how their car feels during acceleration and to get rid of shift lag. Have you ever watched a drag racer launch and wondered how they get all that power instantly? Trick number 20 is adding a nitrous oxide system. Yes, it sounds extreme, but the results are real. Install a nitrous kit with a bottle in the trunk and lines to your intake. Start with a small shot, around 50 horsepower, and only use it for short bursts like launches or highway pulls. Always tune carefully to avoid engine damage. The confidence you get from having power on demand will push you to develop your driving skills, which makes you even faster everywhere else. Quick tip: match your nitrous size to your engine strength. Tune your air-fuel ratios carefully. It will make you more confident and focused on getting the most from your power adders while protecting your engine. Now, what if I told you there is a way to make your car feel dramatically quicker without even touching the engine? Trick number 19 is changing your gear ratios. Shorter gears multiply your engine's torque more aggressively, so your car accelerates harder in every gear. Swap in a numerically higher final drive, like going from 3.73 to 4.10, or install tighter gear sets in your transmission if you can. Most importantly, install a limited slip differential because shorter gears create more wheel torque, and you need both wheels gripping to use it effectively. Here is the part most people never experience. Most drivers have never felt their car's real acceleration potential because the gears are too long for real performance. If you regear correctly, your car will pull harder everywhere, even with the same engine. Changing old fluids does not sound like a speed trick, but it can bring back lost performance in just one afternoon. Trick number 18 is switching to full synthetic fluids. Your engine, transmission, and differential are full of moving parts that create friction. Old, conventional fluids just add drag and waste power as heat. Swap in premium synthetic oils everywhere, in the engine, transmission, and differential, and you will free up horsepower, reduce heat, and help your drivetrain last longer. Use the viscosity your manufacturer recommends, because thicker oil just adds more drag. Fresh engine and transmission oils do more than reduce friction. They help your engine run cooler, shift smoother, and last longer. Every bit of power that used to get lost to drag now goes straight to the pavement. Now, did you know your car's computer is probably holding back power on purpose? That is where trick number 17 comes in, and that is getting a custom ECU tune. This is one of the most effective ways to unlock hidden horsepower, because the factory programming always sacrifices performance for emissions and fuel economy. All you need is a reputable tuner. They will reprogram your engine computer to optimize ignition timing, fuel delivery, and throttle response for your specific setup. Start with a conservative tune if you are new, or go for a full dyno-tuned map if you want maximum gains. For immediate improvement without permanent changes, install a throttle response controller that sharpens accelerator pedal sensitivity. These plug-and-play devices eliminate throttle lag and make your car feel much more responsive instantly. Here is the big secret. Turbocharged engines respond even better to tuning, since you can safely increase boost with the right fueling and cooling. A good tune on a turbo car can add 20 to 50 horsepower at the wheels, sometimes even more. When tuning is done right, your car transforms with instant throttle response, smooth power delivery, and real horsepower you can feel every time you accelerate. Trick number 16 is installing a cold air intake system. This is one of the simplest ways to help your engine breathe better and make more power. A cold air intake pulls cool, dense air from outside the engine bay instead of letting your engine suck in hot air from under the hood. Your engine needs oxygen to make power, and cooler air is packed with more oxygen. But with many factory intakes, your engine gets the opposite. You have restrictive air boxes, clogged filters, and intake pipes that grab hot air from the wrong place. When that happens, your engine cannot breathe and you lose horsepower. It is like trying to run while breathing through a straw. Your lungs are strong, but the air is restricted. You can fix this by replacing your dirty air filter with a high-flow washable one. Install intake piping that pulls air from a cool spot, like the fender well. Make sure your intake has a proper heat shield, because a lot of aftermarket intakes actually suck in hot air if they are not protected. If you are on a budget, you can even drill holes in your factory airbox to let in more air while keeping the cold air path. Always pair intake changes with an ECU tune, because more airflow needs more fuel to make real power. Now, fixing your suspension might not sound like a way to go faster in a straight line, but it is. Trick number 15 is restoring your suspension by replacing worn parts. Think of it as swapping out the wobbly legs on a table for solid ones. Your suspension is what keeps your tires glued to the road. When it is worn out, your tires bounce and slide instead of gripping, and all your power goes to waste. Replace worn ball joints, since these connect your control arms and keep your alignment true. Install new tie rods, because loose ones make your steering vague and sloppy. Change out old rubber bushings, since worn bushings allow too much movement and kill your car's responsiveness. The most important thing is to replace dead shock absorbers. Worn shocks let your suspension bounce around, and your tires lose contact with the road. Fresh shocks keep your tires planted, so every bit of power goes straight to forward motion. Here's a quick way to check your suspension. Grab each wheel and see if there is any play or if you hear clunking. If you do, something is worn out and needs to go. Here is what is interesting. Replacing worn suspension parts often makes a bigger difference than adding a little more horsepower, because better handling lets you use the power you already have. Now, what if you want more power and a better sound at the same time? Trick number 14 is installing a free-flowing exhaust system. We're talking about reducing exhaust restriction from your engine all the way to the tailpipe. Your engine needs to exhale freely to make power, but factory exhausts prioritize quiet operation over flow. But with restrictive exhausts, your engine fights back pressure, like small pipes, restrictive catalytic converters, or quiet mufflers that choke flow. And when that happens, burned gases can't exit efficiently, and you literally lose horsepower. Think of it like trying to exhale while someone presses their hand over your mouth. You can fix this by installing a catback exhaust with larger piping and high-flow mufflers. Upgrade to high-flow catalytic converters if your area allows it, since factory cats are often a big choke point. Install long tube exhaust headers to replace restrictive manifolds, because exhaust headers let each cylinder breathe better. Always fix exhaust leaks, since they cause turbulence and mess with your oxygen sensors, making your engine run poorly. Size your exhaust for your power level. Most naturally aspirated cars do best with 2.5-inch pipes, while turbo cars like 3-inch systems. Too small restricts flow, but too large can hurt low-end power. When your exhaust flows freely, your engine breathes easier, makes more power, and sounds great doing it. But let me ask you, when was the last time you thought about wind resistance? Trick number 13 is removing drag by taking off your roof rack and closing your windows. This is one of the easiest free ways to reduce drag and pick up speed, especially on the highway. Drag steals horsepower, and every little bit adds up. All you have to do is remove roof racks when you are not using them, since even empty racks act like a parachute. Take off bug deflectors and spoilers that do not actually help with downforce. Keep your windows closed at highway speeds, since open windows create turbulence that drags you back. If you want to go further, cover unused grille openings and install smooth panels under your car to help airflow cleanly. Here's why it matters. Drag increases quickly as you go faster. At 30 miles per hour, it is not much. At 60, it is 4 times as much. At 90, it is the main thing holding you back. Every bit of drag you remove gives you more speed and better fuel economy, and it costs nothing. Now, adjusting tire pressure may not sound exciting, but it can transform your launches in minutes. Trick number 12 is tuning your tire pressure for grip. Tire pressure decides how much rubber touches the road, and more contact means more grip. Most people run too much pressure for maximum traction. Use a good gauge and check your tires when they are cold. Drop the pressure by 2 to 5 psi below the recommended level for better launches, since this gives a bigger contact patch. If you are drag racing, go even lower to stop wheel spin. For highway driving, bump the pressure up a little to save fuel. Always measure when the tires are cold, since heat from driving makes the readings go up. The key is matching your pressure to your driving. Every use is different. When you get tire pressure just right for your situation, you get better grip, less wheel spin, and every bit of acceleration your engine can give you. Have you ever noticed how much effort it takes to spin a heavy wheel compared to a light one? Trick number 11 is swapping to lighter wheels. Your wheels are spinning thousands of times per mile, and every extra ounce makes your engine work harder. Think of it like spinning a bicycle wheel versus a truck wheel. The lighter one is always easier. Heavy wheels hurt performance in 2 ways. They add weight your engine must move, and they add rotational inertia that resists changes in speed. Both steal power and make your car feel slower. The fix is to install lightweight forged wheels instead of heavy cast ones. Smaller diameter wheels help too, since big rims have much more inertia. A 15-inch wheel is much easier to spin than a 20-inch one. Do not go oversized just for looks, since big wheels kill acceleration. Make sure your wheels are strong enough for your car and always have them balanced after mounting tires. Testing shows that dropping 8 pounds per wheel can give you the same acceleration as adding 10 to 15 horsepower. The difference is most obvious when you launch from a stop. When you have the right lightweight wheels, your car feels sharper, more responsive, and quicker off the line. What if you could restore lost power without touching a wrench? Trick number 10 is adding fuel injector cleaner. Over time, your injectors get clogged with carbon and start spraying fuel unevenly. This causes rough idle, hesitation, and a drop in power. You can fix this by filling up with top-tier gasoline that has detergents, and by adding a strong injector cleaner that contains polyethyramine. Pour it into an almost empty tank, then fill up with fuel so it mixes well. Drive some highway miles to help the cleaner do its job. Pour products like Redline SI1 into an almost empty tank before refueling so the concentrate mixes thoroughly with fresh gas. Drive highway miles after adding cleaner because sustained high-temperature operation accelerates deposit dissolution. For really bad cases, get your injectors cleaned professionally with ultrasonic equipment. If you have a direct injection engine, you may need special cleaning methods like walnut shell blasting, since fuel does not wash the intake valves. When your fuel system is clean, your engine runs smoother, makes more power, and gets better fuel economy. Trick number 9 is installing stiffer sway bars. This is all about making your car handle better by reducing body roll in corners. Sway bars connect the left and right sides of your suspension and help keep your tires flat on the road when you turn. If your bars are too soft, your car leans too much and you lose grip. With stiffer sway bars, your car stays flatter, your tires grip better, and you can carry more speed through every corner. The way to do this is to install a larger adjustable rear sway bar, especially if you drive a front-wheel drive car. This helps the car rotate through corners instead of just pushing straight ahead. Upgrade to polyurethane bushings to replace the soft rubber ones, and consider solid engine and transmission mounts to stop drivetrain movement that makes throttle response feel vague. If you want serious improvements, go for adjustable coilover shocks so you can tune ride height and damping. Always get a professional alignment after changing suspension parts, since ride height changes the suspension geometry. The science is simple. When you corner, one side of the suspension compresses and the other extends. The sway bar twists and forces both sides to move together, which resists body roll and keeps the tires loaded more evenly. When your suspension is set up right, your car feels more predictable and you can put power down better coming out of corners. Now, if you think spark plugs are just boring maintenance, think again. Trick number 8 is replacing spark plugs and fixing sensors. Worn plugs and bad sensors are quietly stealing horsepower right now. Your ignition system creates the spark that lights your fuel, and if the plugs are old, they need more voltage to fire and can cause misfires that waste power. The fix is to replace old plugs with high-quality iridium ones. Clean or replace your mass airflow sensor, and fix any faulty pressure sensors like the manifold absolute pressure sensor. Also, service dirty fuel injectors, because carbon buildup disrupts spray patterns and causes rough running. Check your catalytic converter for blockages, since a clogged cat chokes exhaust flow and kills power everywhere in the rev range. Inspect removed spark plugs as diagnostic tools. White deposits indicate lean running, black sooty deposits indicate rich running, oil fouling indicates worn rings or valve seals, and physical damage indicates detonation. When your ignition system and sensors are working together, your engine runs as it should with strong power and crisp throttle response. What is the one upgrade that improves acceleration, braking, and cornering all at once? Trick number 7 is installing sticky performance tires. Your tires are the only part of your car that actually touches the road, so grip is everything. All the horsepower in the world is useless if your tires cannot put it down. Think of it like trying to run on ice with dress shoes. Your legs are strong, but you just slide around. The fix is to buy proper summer performance tires with soft rubber compounds and tread patterns made for grip in warm weather. Go a little wider than stock if your suspension allows, but make sure nothing rubs and your alignment stays good. If it is cold, switch to winter tires, since summer tires lose grip below 45 degrees. Stickier tires wear out faster, but the trade-off is much better performance. Tests show that switching from cheap all-season tires to real summer tires can make your 0 to 60 miles per hour time faster by 1 full second, just from better grip at launch. Braking distances get shorter, and cornering speeds go up. When you have the right tires, every other upgrade works better because now you can use all the power you have. Now, let us talk about weight. Trick number 6 is removing unnecessary interior weight. This is one of the best free upgrades you can do, especially if you have collected a lot of stuff over the years. The less weight your engine has to move, the faster your car will be. It is just physics. Imagine running a race with a backpack full of rocks. Take off the backpack and you instantly go faster. Start by removing heavy sound systems if you have big amplifiers and subwoofers that you do not need. Strip out unused rear seats if you never carry passengers and it is allowed. Clear out your trunk. Get rid of extra tools, gym bags, and anything you do not use. If you are comfortable with it, swap your heavy lead-acid battery for a lightweight lithium one. Just never remove safety gear like seat belts or airbags. The lighter your car is, the faster it will accelerate, brake, and corner. Even dropping 70 kilograms can shave half a second off your 0 to 60 time. The effect is most obvious when you launch from a stop. Better brakes may not sound like a way to go faster, but they are. Trick number 5 is installing aggressive brake pads. Good brakes let you stay on the gas longer before corners, which means you carry more speed and gain time. The trick is to install high-friction performance pads, upgrade to slotted or drilled rotors. Fill the braking system with high-temperature brake fluid rated for higher boiling points, because when fluid boils, it becomes compressible and your pedal goes soft. Replace rubber brake lines with steel braided lines to eliminate hose expansion under pressure for firmer pedal feel. The most important step is bedding in your new pads. Do a series of hard stops from highway speed without coming to a full stop, so you transfer an even layer of pad material onto the rotors. This gives you consistent performance and stops vibration. When your brakes are upgraded and bedded in, you can brake later, carry more speed, and get back on the gas sooner. Often, better brakes give you bigger time gains than adding a bit more horsepower. Now, cleaning your air intake does not sound like a power trick, but it really is. Trick number 4 is cleaning the entire air intake path. Your engine is an air pump, and any restriction kills power. Over time, carbon builds up, filters get dirty, and hoses collapse. Clean or replace your air filter, remove carbon from the throttle body, and take out any foam baffles that block airflow. Check the whole intake path for collapsed hoses or cracks. A lot of lost performance is just from blocked airflow. When you clean the system, you are not adding new power. You are getting back what was lost. Your engine breathes better, combustion is more efficient, and throttle response sharpens up right away. Have you ever watched a race driver and noticed how late they brake into corners? Trick number 3 is learning to brake later. Driver skill is one of the best free upgrades you can make. Practice threshold braking by slowly braking later into corners as you build confidence. Learn heel and toe downshifting for smoother transitions by blipping the throttle while braking and downshifting simultaneously. This matches engine RPM to the lower gear and prevents the rear wheels from hopping when the clutch engages. If your car has a sport mode, use it. Sport mode sharpens throttle response, holds gears longer, and firms up the suspension. Now, trick number 2 is mastering smooth launch control. This is all about balancing the clutch and throttle to get maximum traction without spinning the tires. Start at 2000 RPM with a smooth clutch release. If you spin, lower the RPM. If it feels slow, add a little more. Fine-tune until you find the sweet spot. Apply throttle smoothly, not abruptly, so you keep weight transferring to the rear tires. Let the engine warm up before hard launches, since cold oil and tires give less grip. For automatics, floor the pedal to force a downshift and get maximum torque. Turn off the air conditioning during launches, since it robs power. If you think shifting at redline always gives you the best acceleration, you might be surprised. Trick number 1 is shifting at your engine's peak power RPM. Most drivers guess or shift by sound, but every engine has an RPM where it makes maximum power. That is usually close to redline, but not always. Your engine produces different amounts of power at different RPMs throughout the rev range. Peak torque occurs at 1 RPM. Peak horsepower occurs at a higher RPM, usually closer to redline. But the fastest acceleration doesn't necessarily come from shifting at peak horsepower. The optimal shift point is where power after the upshift exceeds power before the shift. Think of it like climbing ladders. You don't stay on the top rung forever. You move to the next ladder when the next ladder's bottom rung is higher than your current ladder's top rung. Find your engine's power curve by looking up dyno charts or getting your car tested. Shift so that, after the upshift, your engine lands near its peak torque or power. If your gears are spaced widely, you may need to rev higher before shifting. If the gears are close, you can shift earlier and stay in the power band. Professional drivers often shift at different points than amateurs and gain time just by optimizing shift strategy. When you shift at the right RPM, acceleration feels smooth, and you get every bit of performance your engine can deliver. Now that you know all 24 tricks, here's how to put them to work. Start with the free basics. Nail your shift points, perfect your launches, and practice late braking. Do key maintenance like cleaning your intake, changing spark plugs, and switching to synthetic fluids. Upgrade to performance tires, drop extra weight, and improve your brakes. Then go for bolt-ons, like lighter wheels, a cold air intake, and a custom ECU tune. If you want even more speed, consider a turbo or nitrous, but always put safety first. But before you hit the road, watch the next video to avoid the everyday habits that are quietly killing your car.